And I am live. Welcome everybody to another episode of You Know What? Let me just say podcast. I'm your host Ray. Usually I have people to talk with me, but it's the Thanksgiving holiday. I didn't really want to disturb people with their family. I'm pretty sure I could have got someone to do it, but you know what? Um, Let me just do it myself. So, usually I ask how you doing. I think I should ask the audience how you're doing. I hope that your Thanksgiving went really well. I know it's kind of hard to have a kind of traditional Thanksgiving with COVID and all that stuff. I know, like, even though, like, I had Thanksgiving with my family and it was great, it was also kind of weird because it just felt like another day. And the only reason I say that is because it's just like, because of this COVID, it felt like no one was really in the spirit. We like I'm not gonna lie, like I woke up like 2 o'clock in the afternoon. The food was already done. They was already eating. Ain't nobody say grace and all that other stuff. And it's not like my family's dysfunctional or anything, but it was just like, hey, it's another day. You might as well just get in when you fit in. So even though we did karaoke that night, and karaoke was really cool. Like the karaoke was really cool, and that was good time to spend with my family and all that. I played um karaoke. I like karaoke because it really exposes like you not singing and not giving a fuck. So I played "Can You Stand Up." Like I only did two songs. My sister, as the showman that she always is, my older sister, she kind of like played a lot of Beyonce songs and all that other stuff. She used to take over as always. But that's why we love her. She's always kind of been like that, and even when we was little, we used to do stuff for like she was like the planner. She was like, and I guess that's the beauty of having an older sister. It's like she does it well. She does it well, even with the karaoke. And I had fun. I did "Can You Stand the Rain" and I did "Even Flow" by Pearl Jam, which they looked at me like, you doing a rock song, a '90s grunge rock song, and they didn't know it either. And I was kind of like making fun of the reason why I did it, and even though I knew they wouldn't get the joke anyway, um, I just did it to make fun of '90s grunge music, especially even though it's already been done. If you watch the movie Ted, it's always been done. But that song to me is funny because I always feel like you could say anything and get away with it. Especially if anybody knows how Even Flow goes. Because the reason why I know about that song is because of Guitar Hero. But it's like the the verse on it. It's like reason, hold up on it. And that's what I was just doing for like first answer. And my sister's like, you can read the lyrics. And I was like, all right, let me just do this. It's like, but I'm like the only one that got it, so it's just like I found it funny, but they still enjoyed it. It was like, oh man, you kind of like hitting these notes. It was like I actually kind of like this song, but even though, like I said, the karaoke was good, so it was good to spend time with my family. I know, like, spending time with family is kind of like weird, but and from what I've seen, a lot of people did, but it was a good Thanksgiving. So and I hope like everybody else had a great Thanksgiving as well. Um, what's another thing about Thanksgiving? I find it funny. And I say this, I think we know how Thanksgiving started. No one cares. I don't care. Like you, I know. Like I never call myself pro black or woke. I always said I'm black first, but I always never say I'm pro black or none of that other stuff because I always feel like whenever I look at a pro black person, they're never happy. I'm and like to me, and I know that's like putting them in a stereotypical box, but every time I see a pro black, it's like none of them are never happy, none of them are smiling. They're always angry about something, and I was like, yes, I know. And as much as I know about my history, I have to know about my history. And people, it's just like I don't want to walk around like pissed all the fucking time. Some shit, it's just like sometimes like even with holidays, I don't care. Like I know I remember I did a video 4th of July. it's like I know a lot of people is like, do you really want to celebrate Independence Day? And I know, like, especially with the shit was going on this year, is like, did you really want to celebrate Independence Day? And a lot of black people didn't. Like, we celebrate Juneteenth, but I was like, look, man, I defended this country. Like, this country belongs to, and to me, like, I understand, like, it wasn't thought of us at the beginning, but I always said, like, we fought for this country, especially black people. We've done as much this shit. This country belongs to us as much as we do. So I always felt like I'm celebrating 4th of July, and like, if you're black and don't want to, I can understand why. Like, I'm not I'm not against anybody that didn't want to, but it was just like I'm celebrating, and I fucking love the flag. I don't feel like a coon saying I love the flag. I feel like, honestly, aesthetic wise, I think our flag is really cool to look at compared to other flags. I think our flag is really cool to look at. I know, like, people, some of their homeland flags, you probably think that way. I probably think that way about America too. But like some holidays like that, Thanksgiving, like, we know that we probably really shouldn't be celebrating Thanksgiving, but no one cares, especially black people. It's like one of the few times where, like, you get to be with family, and like, it's one of the few times where you do get to be with family, and then you get to enjoy people's company and all that other stuff. So I'm always like, yes, I know the history of Thanksgiving, but it doesn't. I don't care. Like, you like I don't think most black people don't care either, because you're around family, and then it's just all that matters. I think the the way Thanksgiving was set up was fucked up, but I felt like, I don't want to say the thoughts that matters, but you're there to celebrate your family. It's like, you can do this every day, but and a lot of people, you can do this shit every day. It's like, not really. It's like, when there's a planned day and you get your day off and all that other shit to, like, you go ahead and spend with your family, you should do it. Especially like Thanksgiving. You don't just get Thanksgiving off. It's like one of the days where you get a 5-day weekend where your work is short and you get to work these 5 days and all that other shit. So Thanksgiving is like a whole week off. Like, some people are not going back to, like, was off on Wednesday and don't have to come back until Monday. And you know how, like, we love our long ass weekends for people that work. So I've always looked at Thanksgiving as, like, it's one of the things where we really shouldn't be celebrated, but we don't care. I think Christmas is another thing, but like I said, a lot of people don't care. It's like, look, let's just spend time with these families. Like, that's why I like that's why I do like some of these holidays. It's just like, hey, I don't get to see my family much. So, the fact that, like, I love my grandparents to the death. So anytime I get time to spend with them, I fucking will. And, like, because I want to cherish these moments. And we did talk. Now, my grandparents didn't come up this weekend because, my grandmama's anemic and shit. And she, she really, really does not like coming up here in the cold. And I don't blame her. Florida's great. And, except for COVID and the spiking, which I'm probably going to be talking about in this fucking podcast. But, when I do come up there, it's all love. And my grandma a gangster. She kind of a gangster of the family. Like, we always talking about stuff. My brother thinks, like, why every time you on the phone want to talk to her, she kind of like shoos them off. And my sister's like, well, she's not a phone person. I keep saying, yo, grandma a gangster in this family, right? She be trapping out the bandos and all that other stuff. Like, um, like I said, I love my family. So anyway, that's how I feel about Thanksgiving. It's like, if you're, like, really pro-black, you really shouldn't be celebrating this because they did some fucked up shit to the Native Americans and shit. But no one cares. No one really cares, and that's how I felt about that. So, was there a lot that really going on in the world? I had some. You could say that. I can say so. One. I had some topics that I was going to address to the panel, but like, no one, like I said, it's a rough 2 weeks, so everybody had their own thing. One of them was men in dresses. And like we've talked about this before. So, but I think it was a really spectacle about Harry Styles showing up in a dress, and Candace Owens had a problem with it, and it was just like they're trying to take masculine men away. And I'm not gonna lie, like okay, first time I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm not a big fan of Candace Owens, but the first time I met her, I was like, I did agree with her because of the topic she was talking about. And the topic was like we always why is black people having this victim mentality about a lot of things. And in my opinion, I do feel like there are black people that do have this mental victim mentality. Now, I don't look at it as a conservative standpoint. I think of it as a black people standpoint. Now, but at the same time, if you know our history, you can understand why black people are so pissed at the world. Like nothing was handed down to us. Like I understand, but to me, it's just like I'm not wallowing about it. I feel like as black people, we got to do something about it. So when I first heard Candace Owens, I heard her off of that tip, and I was like, well, I agree with her because I do feel like that. Like I don't like my whole life. I even though as a black man, my whole life, I never had this victim mentality. No, woe is me. I can't do nothing because I'm black. I feel like the only person that could stop me is me. And if this shit is, and I have this attitude is like if I didn't get it, maybe it's not for me. And you know, most of the time, and most of my career and all that stuff, when it comes to the Navy and everything, that's on my own accord. So I don't blame nobody else for my mistakes. That's just me. Other people is just like, oh, there's a handicap and all that other stuff. Like to me, I know there's handicaps and other stuff. Even for me as a black man, like we ain't really got our own and all that other stuff. Like I understand that. Like I feel like even if we, let's say, if America was built off of instead of us being slaves, like we really had our own shit. Like black people had our own shit, and white people wasn't racist to us. I feel like we would be better off. I do feel like that. Like if there was problems with the North and the South and all that other stuff, like a lot of more. I'm pretty sure a lot more bloodshed, but it'd be less racist. Like if the world would be less racist, like black people wouldn't be acting like this. Like that said, if we had generational wealth just like the white people did, we wouldn't be acting like this. Point blank. Like if we wasn't built into slavery and everybody just worked their work, and all that other stuff like equally, then yes, black people wouldn't act like this. But it didn't. So look at where we are now. So, with that being said, she had this thing about men in dresses, and it was like Harry Styles, and they're trying to, emasculate men and all that other stuff. My opinion has always been about this. We are in a different era where everybody is more inclusive. Like in the '80s, like you had those GI Joes and those manly men, those shirtless men that was greased up killing hundreds of dudes and all that other stuff. Um, I think like those were the things. Those were in style and those things were popular. So you really didn't see no other type of man like, or if like every other type of man was type of shunned. You had to be like a manly man or like a smooth guy or a suave guy. Like you never like nerdy dudes wasn't in style or like you was just awkward and all that other stuff. So I don't know much about Harry Styles. I don't know how much, but he was in a dress. I don't care. So about let's be real. If like you're a straight man and want to wear a dress, go fucking do it. It like what you doing that doesn't hurt me none. Now I know there was there was a I remember there was a post about this old white man. He was wearing these dresses and like I don't understand. Like it looked well. He was like they was more comfortable and all that other stuff. Now he was a straight white man. He was married, but I was like, I don't know. And the way and like not from oh that shit looked gay. So it was just like because I wouldn't wear a dress. Let's just be real. Like yeah, I think a real good pantsuit would be fine. But I feel like um those were not made for men. Like the dress it was not made for men. Like don't get me wrong. Like I know like you look at the kilts, and you look at if you look at the Scottish, you look at kilts, and I think some African garbs is kind of like dressed like, and especially like the Europeans. Like I feel like those were made for men, and like it looks comfortable to be in, or and especially like they're not like pants and all that shit. Some shit is just like loose. So I feel like those if you have those designed for men to be in and it looks manly, like a kilt. I don't care what anybody say. A kilt looks manly. Like you don't like, and then it's because the like, and a reason why I say that is because anytime you see a Scottish person in a kilt, it's a swole ass nigga. Like it's not no as Arnold Schwarzenegger would call it, no fruitcake or girly man. It's some swole ass nigga in a kilt. So you respect the kilt and all that stuff because the man is in it, rocking it is manly. So that's why you see like dudes wear, like I feel like a dude will wear a kilt. Black culture, not so much. I don't want, and I guess that's what we was talking about. Now, as far as emasculating men, I just feel like they just want to show other men like gone. I do feel like gone are days where there's an action movie and like the manly man are like your Arnold Schwarzeneggers, your Chuck Norris's, your Sylvester Stallone's, where they're like the headliners in these action movies. I feel like gone are those days. Like you don't ever see you don't really see movies like that no more. Now, do I feel like they're trying to get rid of the manly man? My solely opinion is you can never get rid of the manly man because we are needed in life. Now, and the thing is, like, we're too stubborn to change. Manly men are too stubborn to change, or like the whole alpha male mentality. They're too stubborn to change. And plus, as much as women, and I say this all the fucking time, as much as women may be like that, they never date them. Women like them. They like looking at them, but they never date them. And also, I know a lot of people bring up androgynous styles like a Dennis Rodman and Prince and all that other stuff, and Jada Smith. I they're still men to me. Like yes, they're androgynous and all that stuff. They're just men to me, and to me, only a few of them can even rock that. Like Dennis Rodman had his own style. I don't see like other people try to mock it, but it was just like, or especially like the early late '90s, a lot of androgynous male and all that other stuff. Dennis Rodman is like one of the few people that could really rock it. Prince was really one of the few people that could rock that androgynous shit. Like you have to have a certain, and a lot of people hate this because you feel like one size fits all. But I've always said no. A certain people can only rock a certain type of style. Now I've always had this. One of my homeboys in the Navy. I'm not gonna say his name, but he was like one of my good friends. Nigga was tall, skinny, lanky, but he had a swimmer's body because he swam, obviously. But that nigga had a style that I couldn't mimic because I didn't have the body for it. Now I'm five, like he's like 6 foot, 6'1", like I said, swimmer's body, right? And the clothes that he will wear on him, it will look good on him. Like it looks it looks good on him, and I didn't knock it, but I felt like if I were to wear it, it's not my style, nor I don't think I can rock that, which I understand. Like me, I'm 5'9", and I'm kind of like stocky, so like I rock clothes that's more, I guess, hip hop like, but I could like when it came to like polo shirts, I used to have a bunch of polo shirts that because I was more in shape back then. I used to rock a lot of polo shirts that really showed off my figure. Yes, I was kind of stocky, but it was a good type of stocky. So where it's just like I'm like nothing looks sloppy on me. So and I can like do something like rock a dress shirt and it looks nice on me, or like I could put on a suit if I ever like did put on a suit because I don't really like suits much. Like I would look good in a suit. So I've always like I was always trying to find a style that was for me, and I've done that too. And yeah, back then I was really into snapbacks, and like even though like I don't like in my family like I have a widow's peak, so obviously we don't bald no one balls their hair really goes thin, so it's not really balding. Thank God. So like I've always rocked snapbacks, and I always felt comfortable with snapbacks. So the snapbacks was my style, and I used to have them in like every color for every suit, and I used to like coordinate with them. So like my style was more a little urban hip hop, like a G Unit type of shit. But like it shit worked for me and all that other stuff. So with that being said, now like getting older, you develop more of a certain growner style. Like I got out of the baggy jeans phase and more of a fitted jeans, not skinny jeans, but like jeans that fit you, because I didn't like sagging my pants. Like only time I ever sagged my pants is when I didn't have a belt, and I didn't like the feeling of like my ass was out. I really did not. I never did. I still don't like now that even when I was younger, like 21. Anytime I see like dudes with their ass out, I was like, that shit do look. I'm not gonna say. I'm gonna be honest. I said that shit look gay. That shit still look gay to me, and even gay people will say that shit look gay. So I'm not even like worried about like how people feel about that. But people always talk about that. So as far as, as far as the manly man, uh, as far as manly man being emasculated, I do feel like there is some sort of emasculation, because it seems like when like people do see a manly man, they want to call it toxic masculinity and all that shit. So and then you always get this fight of like what's toxic in that. And the problem with the whole toxic masculinity thing or the hyper masculinity thing is like um is two problems I personally have with it. One, there's not a specific for what toxic masculinity is. There's not a specific definition of what toxic masculinity is. Like, um, okay, especially like when you court a girl. Like at one point, you had to you have to literally go up to them and say hi and introduce yourself and all that other stuff. Some you kind of like had to pull them to the side. You kind of like pull them and talk to them and all that. That was cool. At one point, that was cool. Now, if you even try to talk to them, they'll look at you like you like a creep now. And it's just like, I just wanted to say hi, or like, can I take some time out today? Just wanted to talk to you. Now, like I never really talk to people in public because I ride the metro, and I've seen a lot of dudes. They say some wild shit in the fucking metro. Like I remember a dude telling one girl like she'll be like he was gonna go home and beat off just because of how fine she was. It's like, and I looked at him like, is that really like appropriate to talk? Like like being in DC in the metro, I understand why women are afraid to get in the metro. Now, with that being said, as a man, I don't like being on the metro either. Like that shit is fucking like you never know when shit is going to happen. And niggas has gotten stabbed on that metro before, so cuz niggas just like don't know how to act. So, but I feel like that's just a hood thing. So, as far as the whole man in dresses, like I always said, let them have that shit, but I don't ever think that the manly men will ever go out of style, because contrary to the fucking belief, women still fuck them. Like I've never seen, even though like I said, they always like you don't even have to be gay. Let's just say not even like the gay men, but like the dudes that's just not alpha male or like very beta, right? You might think it's cool with them. You might be friends with them. Some of them, like, you'll call them simps and all that other stuff and all this. But let's be real. The niggas like Future is really the ones that really get all the bitches. That's why I like the whole y'all yell misogyny and all that other shit. But y'all fuck these niggas. And a lot of the men is just like that's what we saying. It's like a lot of these men wouldn't act like this if y'all didn't fuck these niggas. And let's be real. And I'm gonna be real myself. Like one girl, I was a total dick to. One of my sister's friends, I was a total dick to. Just because, I didn't want, just to be a total dick. That girl ended up liking me. It was like, and to me, it was confused because it was just like, why did this work? Because usually, and I'm gonna be honest, like women call me sweet. It's like, oh, you so sweet. And then sometimes it never goes nowhere. Like me being sweet. But the one time when I was being a dick to this one girl, the girl was just like she couldn't get enough of me. She was just cuddled up on me and all that other shit. And like, don't get me wrong, like me being sweet, it got me play. Like it's gotten me play because I've learned like yes, I can be sweet. I tell people all the time, like, yes, I can be sweet, but there's times where I can be an asshole. You're not gonna like me. So and it's worked. It's worked in my favor. So like I've never had problem getting any from people, but I've always let them know like with me, you know who I am from the jump. So, but these men like the future or like the dudes that be calling women bitches and all that other stuff, them niggas get pussy. And I keep telling, and like the women, like I don't understand, like what be. It's like bad bitches be fucking these niggas. It's like call it like say the truth. Boozy can talk his talk because these fuck bad bitches. Like some of these rappers, like a lot of people think they're ugly. Can talk they talk because they fuck bad bitches. It's like you can't knock them. And sometimes they even like as you like you want to say, oh nigga, you wouldn't get all this. I said you and they like a lot of these women have these attitudes like, oh, you didn't want to get with them or like you wouldn't have him with his money. It's like kind of duh. But the fact that there is kind of like you fucking with me. Flavor Flav got fucking 8 kids by like different baby mamas. So that he's fucked multiple bitches. And this is before he's got on a show with 66 different women fighting for his affection. 3 seasons. Anybody understand Flavor of Love? So you know, some of that is just really it's like it don't matter. And some niggas is just like it don't matter. So, you know, that's the whole thing about men in dresses. So but talking about that, because this is another thing, and like I'm in one of these groups and it's on Instagram and shit. And it's run by a black woman. It's like beautiful black people. Now I like jumped on it because, you know, you want to celebrate your black queens and we talk about beautiful black people. But the more I get on this, you see the instead of talking it I don't want to say it contradicts because I feel like there are problems in the black community that does need to be addressed. But it seems like it was always like black man oriented. And one of the things, and every once in a while, I base my opinion, and I come in neutral. And I just want you to know, I come in neutral, and like I don't come in to start stuff, but it seems like every time I do, and I'm not gonna lie, there's a black woman that's coming in, and it seems like not only that they want to argue your point, that they want to fight, is like they come in like they want to fight, where instead of like having a conversation, you want to fight. And like to me that bothers me because I'm not even coming in like half of the times I'm coming in, I try to come in to understand, but at the same time, and I feel like a lot of brothers do that, but I feel like when a lot of times, and I say this all the time, because we're in this internet phase and all that stuff, a lot of y'all have smart mouths. And y'all would say shit that y'all probably wouldn't say in front of people because you know niggas will punch you in the fucking face. Like, I don't hit women. Now, be mindful. I do not hit women. My mom has always gave me permission to hit women, but she always said, if them bitches hit you first, you knock them heifers out. Be mindful. So, like, I wouldn't even, like, if I ever get to a point where you see me punch a woman, she hit me first. And my mom gave me permission. So for any women, it's like, how would your mom feel about this? You hitting a black woman, and I always said, my mom told me to hit you. My mom will call you a heifer and tell me to hit you back. Be mindful. Okay, this was about Gabourey Sidibe, aka Precious. She's gotten married to a white man. So if you're asking me, I'm happy she found somebody that loved her and appreciated her and all that. Like that's where it was, and that's where it should have stayed. But on this specific page, there was also slides of black women talking about men should be looking for. Sometimes men don't be looking for dark skinned women. They always trying to want the bad joints or something like that. And then when a white man take her and all, I said, why is it getting to? And then it was just one was just like black men are upset that Gabourey Sidibe got with a white man and all that other stuff. And then though there was one slide and it was from a black woman that said, ain't nobody fucking mad that ain't nobody really mad that she's fucking marrying a white man. Stop all this fake outrage. And I saw that. So let me go on it. But and I was in the comments I was seeing the same thing. It's like here's black man not appreciating another black woman unless she with another black. So I wrote, and this was following the joint about black men being upset with black men being upset that Gabourey Sidibe is married to a white man. I said, I'm happy for her, but no man is disappointed that she is off the market. I'm happy for her though. So so there was a couple women that said this was backhanded as fuck. And I said, no, it's not. Now to me, it's like, no, it's not backhanded as fuck. And then like a lot of people try to. One girl was just like, read what the fuck you said," or it was just like, "Oh yes, it is backhanded. You know, you should really check yourself." And one girl was like, "Who are you to talk to people about appearance?" So instead of just now, normally I'd have just like cooked her because I could have, but I was like, let me be logical and let me just be neutral about this because I feel like there are times where there are people who just like they want you to go in the dirt with you. And sometimes you gotta choose not to go in the dirt. So I responded to her. Point out in my sentence where I talked about her appearance. Which I didn't. Which I never did. So there's a couple people who still try to say black is this one. So I had to. So another people is just like, how can you not see that what you said was backhanded as fuck? So if I can pull up, here it is. If I can pull up what I said, and I said, the girl said, because she tried to quote me back, she was like, it didn't sound backhanded to you at all, really now. And I said, no, it doesn't at all. One of the slides, the woman was talking about how black men are upset at her being with a white man, in which my response, no one's disappointed that she is off the market. In that sentence, I said nothing negative about her. But for some reason in your mind, you read that as backhanded. That isn't my problem. I would have said this. I would have said the same exact thing about Candace Owens, who is also engaged and or married to a white man. I don't know if she's either engaged or married, but I know she's with a white man. That is for the point of that was Marvin Hole is like I felt like, and a lot of you women do that. Like you thought it was backhanded because you think I'm saying no one's off the market because she's a big girl, and I know a lot of those women thinking that, and that's why. And to this day, I haven't got a response yet. I'm pretty sure a lot of people like it won't get any more responses, but I haven't get no one's gotten a response to that because they know I was right. And this is one of the few times where I would say I'm right about this because I didn't. For one, I'm a believer at there is somebody for everybody. Somebody will love you. No matter what you look like, no matter who you are, there is somebody that will love you for who you are. Not once did and like I said, not once did I mention her appearance. Like I know there are dudes that, probably think Gabourey Sidibe is the most beautiful woman in the world. Hell, a man married her. So but I think where a lot of women are assuming that me saying that, you assuming that I'm saying that no one's disappointed that because she's big. And I'm pretty sure they thought that, which, like I said, is false because there is somebody for everybody. Me, like, like, I've seen a lot of big girls with handsome dudes, and I've said this out my life. So because I actually go the fuck outside, and especially in the black community, especially like since I go to some of these conventions, And I've told people all the time, and because I've also left this message. I went to a convention and I saw, you know, in shape black men, like some of these dudes at these conventions, not like they're in shape, they're in good shape and all that other stuff, with women that are big, like BBWs. Take that as you must. Take that as you must. Take that sentence as you must and all that other stuff. So to me, there's somebody for everybody. Now I knew a skinny girl that I'm I'm gonna try to be nice, but let's just say she was very unappealing. But yet she had niggas fighting for her. She had niggas fighting over her. A lot of people would have found her unappealing, but yet she had niggas fighting for her. And and if I'm correct, she is married to this day. Now, take that, like I said, take that as you will. But to me, there's somebody for everybody. So who am I to make fun of Gabourey Sidibe for her weight? Because somebody's gonna love her. Now, would I date a Gabourey Sidibe? No, not now. And don't get me wrong, I would date a big girl. It's just I don't see nothing attractive about Gabourey Sidibe. Now, I'm like a Jill Scott, and this is not based on colorism either, because I know a lot of people are gonna say that. Like Jill Scott's a BBW. I would definitely date a Jill Scott, and I know a lot of dudes that would date a Jill Scott. Like obviously, a lot of black men gone to bat for Jill Scott when like that football player was talking shit. Niggas like, nigga, you crazy. Jill, and a lot of people's like, nigga, you crazy. Jill Scott's beautiful and all that other stuff. So, like, like I said, it's a person on person basis and all that other stuff. It's a preferential basis of who you would date. So, and I know there's a couple, hell, the fucking dude with no neck, the white guy with no neck fucking got a wife. Yeah, it was a mail-in bride, but that nigga got fucking married. And like I said, and I'll bring this up, Flavor Flav has 66 women affectionate, and some of them really fell in love with Flav. Like, they were really falling in love with Flav. There was a couple of them, like, you can legitimately say, like, they legitimately had love for Flav. Like, New York legitimately had love for Flavor Flav. So, like, there's somebody for everybody. Jerry Springer tell you that too. There's somebody for everybody. Now, with that being said, there's a problem with black men and black women. It seems like I've always said this. We fight each other for no fucking. We're getting to a point where we're fighting each other for no fucking reason. Like we're fighting each other for no fucking reason. It's really getting tiring. And I've always said this. I don't even get into a point where I don't even think we're getting to a point where we can understand each other's pain. I feel like, and especially in this generation, that we're fighting like I feel like everybody wants to be the bigger victim. I can be wrong. I really could be wrong about this, but this is how I feel. I feel like a lot of people could be a bigger victim. They're trying to be a bigger victim than like the other one. Like black people, like I've always said, black people are at the bottom of the totem pole. So there's black women that feel like they're at the bottom. There's black men that feel like they're at the bottom. The point is, we're at the bottom. We need to like raise each other up. There is no point, and I've always said this. There is no point of us fighting each other where we can be helping each other out. And it seems like in this point where we're so, I don't want to say oppressed, but everybody's just like, no one trusts each other. It feels like everyone's trying to set each other up. And it's just like, why are we like this? And it's like everything they was talking about the Jim Crow is just like, it's working. We know it's working. We know we know like the shit out there is like the system is against us. And yet it's still working. Like we know like the system of white supremacy is trying to separate the black family. We know this, and yet we let it happen to us. And it's just, and it baffles me. It's just like, I feel like we know how to stop it, and yet here we are. And yet here we are still fighting each other, still like instead of just fighting white supremacy, and that shit always bugged me to this day because we shouldn't be. So let's like, but I've talked about that many a fucking times. Um, so the next thing I want to talk about is marriage, and like this conversation has been pulled up so many times. It's just like, it seems like marriage back then works, and then how come it's not working then? And then a lot of people have their opinions. Some people think marriage was kind of oppressive and to the woman and all that other stuff. Now, I I don't want to be ignorant about this. I really don't. Like, there's probably many of reasons why, like, marriage just doesn't, or at least not even marriage, relationship doesn't even last long like back then. For one, and and like a lot of people, I've always said the economy is different. Like back then, like, and I've always said this, you can work job, like you can work a factory job and then go home and take care of a whole family. Now, being mindful, like white people are different, but all I know is from black people, black men and women has always worked. Like even before, like even back then, there was women that was like maids, black women that was maids for these white households, and then will go home and then cook for their family still, while their while the father will work too. Like the black men, as far as the black men and black women, they've always worked, but but at the same time, I felt like the women did not have a problem being housewives either, as long as they was taken care of, as long as they was safety. Now, there is probably some underlying bullshit that came with some marriages, like, cheating, having second families, or some shit like that. That's probably like a lot of people look at, back then, it's like back then you had the fucking second family and all that shit. Everybody has their bullshit but um, but and divorce wasn't really high like that. Now divorce is really high. But also, like, even though divorce is really high, I feel like a lot of people are more miserable now than it was back then. So a lot of people, I do feel like there's a lack of communication, for one. Um, and economics. I've always said that because the thing about women, and I've always said, and I get a lot of flack for this too, but I've always said women are naturally selfish. They're worried about their safety before anyone else's, and some women are worried about their safety before their own kids. The thing about men, like us being the providers, not only we provide for the wife, the man provide for the kids. It's for the family. The thing about a man, when he wants to get married and settle down, he wants to build a family and protect, like give him something to protect and all that other stuff. Like when a man wants to settle down, he's thinking about everything, like wife, the kids, where we're going to live, what kind of car you're going to drive, where do I want my kids to go to school at, and all that stuff. It's the environment safe. How am how am I going to take care of his kids? The thing is, men, we can be selfish, but at the same time, like the way the economic system is such, we can't be selfish. We got to be the providers, and we got to take care of everything. We got to make sure everything is in order. I've always believed that, and and like in this economy, more women have jobs, which is fine. And I've always said this. More women have jobs now, and it's fine. More women work now, which is fine. More women getting degrees and going to school. That is fine. I do agree with all of that. Um, but I feel like with this independent woman, I feel like I don't know. The thing is, I feel like with black folks, it's like we've always had each other. Now, the whole women's suffrage things and all that other stuff, I felt like that was a white woman's problem because white women, from most of the time, they're just housewives, and some women don't want to be housewives, or they try to want their own shit. And like I said before, black women always work. They always. It was just like we could like they could be the housewives, but they also had their own jobs too. Now there's a few times where like the black man had the whole household and like he could take care of everybody when a woman didn't work and all that other stuff. But less, but but most houses, it really did. Like the man was the man in the house and all that other stuff. He gets the big piece of chicken. He brings home the bacon. The wife cooked the bacon. Yeah, the wife stays at home. She nurtures the kids, makes sure everything is settled and all that other stuff. Like we don't have that. And all like we've talked about the panel has talked about this many of times. Marriage, like communication is another thing, but uh, which is also a big thing um because a lot of people don't communicate now or don't really know how to go across their feelings. Another thing I do have to throw. I used to like try to take social media out of this, but yeah, like now looking at it, social media does have a thing with it. Now the thing is, a man, like you can say a man is only as faithful as his options, but it goes the same thing with women. The thing about women is like you are desired. I don't even have to know your name. And some women, like some of these women, I don't even have to know your name. I don't have to know who you are. I don't even have to know your backstory. You can work at McDonald's and all that. I said a nigga will wife if you good enough. A nigga will want to fuck you. A nigga will want to wife you up. A nigga will probably want to like like he'll do stuff just to be around you. And it's like, and it's been noticed. It's like a lot of niggas been like super simping, especially like the super simps. Like niggas like paying $500 just to sniff your panties and shit. Like those are the super simps and all that. Like social media has really heightened that. Whereas like regular people is like you most of the times, okay, how can I say this? Most of the times where you kind of know you have options back then is when someone actually responds to you or like they try to talk to you and all that other stuff in person. But now, like you got social media and like you post a picture and these random people talking about, damn, you look good. Your man ain't doing it for you. I can take care of you and all that other stuff. So it's just like we're bound to our options. And sometimes with who, depending on who it is, they might not be the best option. They might be the hottest option. Sometimes the hottest option is like someone saying, I could fly you out. I could fly you out to Dubai right now. But that nigga is no good for you. But since that nigga got money and he's flying you out to Dubai, you might want to fuck with that nigga instead of a nigga who's like, I could get you a secure home and like we could like just start a family together. And that nigga could be perfect. But since that nigga ain't flying you out to Dubai, you ain't fucking with him. Alright? Like he's not flashy enough. He's not boring enough. Now you might fuck with him after you done fucked up and like got a mistake and you expected him to like uh pick you up after your mistakes, which is some of you women do that. It's like some of these niggas just like, no, I don't want that. It's just like the option was there when you first had it. Now, I'm not gonna pick you up after like you've been ran through. Now don't get me wrong. I don't want to say this. A lot of women been ran through because a lot of people have their stories, but I don't fault men when they say like, look, I wasn't here like I gave you the offer first time and you said no. So what makes you think I want you now that you've been ran through and then you done had your little fuck ups and all that? Like I understand, man, when they say that, like, oh, like I'll be a last option or something. Some people like there are men that I don't want, and I don't think this is an insecure thing, but at the same time, like you're the best option, but yeah, she chooses the other option. So it was just like what to and like what do you do if like I'm with you and a more interesting option like it can't like at the like it might like fall in your face at the end, but like just because it's interesting and like it can do this for you, like what makes you think you might do that again? And that's how a lot of niggas think. It's like I've had the secure option for like the longest, and yet you chose the whole I'm gonna fly out to Dubai, and you had to sell pussy to get back and some shit like that. I'm just making shit up right now, but but there's a lot of but I see a lot of women that get flued out, and like the dude wanted to fuck, and then he's like, I'm not paying for your way back, so you have to find your way back, and you stuck out there. Like there's a lot of women that's like that, or there's and these like this shit is in the news, like they leave your kids with like your grandparents and shit for some dick, and then like sometimes that shit goes awry and shit. Like there's a lot of people like they would choose the more irresponsible one because it's more appealing to them than the more secure options. They feel like sometimes that secure option will still be there, and sometimes there's a time limit on there, and some niggas still wait forever, but some dudes is just like, nah, you should have got this when you. Now I've always said I may not be your first option, but I will always try to be your best option. And I want my whole life is trying to be the best. If I feel like there's and I've done this before too, like if I feel like there's another dude that wants you and like I feel like he's in a more secure place than I told him, yeah, go with him, just go with him. I've told women like one of the girls that's married now, she was just like she liked me, but she also liked the dude, and like we lived in two different states. It was like she was just, and she. The thing is, like, she was upfront with me too. She was like, I like you, I really do, but I also like him and all that stuff. I don't know where to go, and I'm just like, look, I live in Maryland. I don't see myself living over in where you live at, so you might as well go with old boy. She ended up marrying him. And this happens, and this happened on more than one occasion. I'm not gonna lie to y'all, but it was a better option, and like every time, and like she's happy with it, and I'm happy for her. Like if that was the better option, you go for it. I was like, and I think that's the problem with why marriages don't last. It's like you don't go for the better option or the best option for you. You go for the hottest option. So a lot of you women like you end up going for the hottest options, which is the more excitement in life is just like, oh, this nigga can take me anywhere and all that other stuff, and uh, he flies me out and all that other shit. Now the thing is, like, that's cool until he might find another bitch that you want to do that for that's probably more interested in you or do more than you do. Cause and this is a public service announcement, and this is gonna sound really cruddy. Some of y'all are not worth being sugar babies for. Some of you women are not worth being sugar babies for. Might as well just get you a fucking job. Cause ain't no nigga gonna be spending money on you like you fucking like you like the hottest thing and shit. You ain't no like I know like I know some of you women just like want to be sugar babies and all that, be taken care of. Nah, some of y'all need to get a job, take care of your fucking selves and all that and shit. It's just like a lot of y'all not worth being sugar babies. That's just me. And don't get me wrong, I'm not no Denzel either. But then again, that's why I work. Or, I try to do things. But that's another thing. It's just like I feel like there's a slew of things to why marriages don't work now. And that's probably it. And probably the last thing I'm gonna talk about is my fucking team, the Dallas Cowboys. Man, oh man, this fucking team. I fucking hate watching football now. Like, I shouldn't feel like this about a football team that I like. being a Dallas Cowboys fan is literally being in a, and I'm sorry, like I'm really sorry for people that's been real abusive relationship, but this is a metaphor, so just treat it like a metaphor. But it's like being in an abusive relationship, and your friend is just like, you can leave, and then like my dumbass is like, but I love him, like he can change. He can change when he's going to be the same nigga all the fucking time. That's that's Cowboys fans right now. That is Cowboys fans right now. Like we're stuck on it. Like because we're loyal. Because Cowboys fans, we're probably the most loyal people ever. Like we just loyal to a team that just not fucking do nothing. That hasn't done nothing for us to begin with. And I'm not even from Dallas. And yet I'm a Dallas Cowboys fan. But watching every time it's like you get this false promise that this team is going to take you to the Super Bowl, and yet everything is just goes wrong, and like nothing happens. And then that's what it looks like watching the Cowboys now. It's just like you have all these talented people. Now be mindful that got hurt, and that shit was sad. But even then, like even in a relationship, it's just like, oh, what do you need to work on? And sometimes you tell your spouse, well, like you need to work on your jealousy, or you got to work on this anger problem that you have and all that stuff. For me, the longest problem the Dallas Cowboys has had was you need a fucking O line. Not an O line. I'm sorry, that's the Redskins. I've always said Redskins. The Cowboys. Our fucking secondary is trash. Our fucking secondary is our front seven. Now this year we like our front seven is looking kind of trash now, but usually our front seven is really good. But our secondaries, especially in the safety position, is trash. Jeff Heath, he did what he can, but it was just like we could get better. And I've always said this: our secondaries are fucking trash, and has always been fucking trash. Like when during the Romo years, and a lot of people want to talk about Romo throwing picks or some shit like that. I said, like I was the biggest. When I tell you I'm the biggest Romo defender, like Romo, I tell people Romo has never thrown over 20 interceptions in any season that he's been in. And also, Romo don't play no fucking defense. Like I understand basketball, you got to play offense and defense, but I'm just offense. I don't know how many times where Romo he either has to fucking score a lot of points or he is up a lot of points and our defense loses the game for us. I've seen it many a fucking times. And it's just like, and then Romo gets the blame for it. It's just like, how? That nigga did what he could. That nigga did what that nigga did what he could. And all that stuff. Now, I'm looking at this, it's like our offense is bad, our defenses are bad, our special teams is bad. It's just, everything just looks terrible. So why in God's name am I still liking this team and all that stuff? Because it really doesn't do nothing. And every Cowboys fan is just like, I'm done with this team. Like, to me, it's just like, I gotta act fake woke. It's like, oh, I'm boycotting football and all that shit. Where actuality is, my team just fucking sucks ass. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm a Bulls fan, and Bulls fan also fucking sucks. Bulls suck too. But they fix their problems. Like at least the Bulls try to fix their problems. I'm an Orioles fan. Most of our problems is we're a small market team and we lose our fucking players to big market teams like the Yankees or the LA Dodgers or the Angels or some shit like that. Like we lose our good players to fucking big league. Like that's been the Orioles' problem. So it's like ever since Mike Mussina went to the fucking Yankees, I've never been over that. But I understand that. That's why when I'm like, when the Orioles suck, I don't mind that because it's just like we're a small market team. It's just that's just the way it goes. Sometimes we get good players, and then we just lose them to bigger market teams. But the Cowboys, it's just, oh my fucking God. We are a big market team. We got the money. We can get the players we want, yet we don't fucking get the players we want. I don't know how many times where I said we need to fix our secondary and we don't get it. All right. I don't have a problem with like Diggs. Like he's been the bright side, but I know he's hurt too. But like I said, our secondary has been trash, especially the safeties. And I don't mean to talk about these men like they're not doing a good job, but it's just like they're not doing a good job. And it's just like it's just disappointing to watch every time I'm sitting there, and it's just like, why am I a fucking fan? And the person I blame is Jerry fucking Jones. Sometimes I don't even blame the players. It's Jerry fucking Jones. Mike McCarthy, you might have to get this blame too, because Jason Garrett is looking like a fucking genius right now. Because he had to be the fall guy, but at the same time, it's just looking at, oh man, like it's just Zeke. And Zeke, you looking terrible too. You've been fumbling, like I don't know, like what it is, but like you've been having the biggest butterfingers this year. Like you want to get fed and all that other shit, but yet you looking bad, and I mean bad. Like I missed DeMarco Murray. I wish we never gave him up. I like Ezekiel Elliott too, and I really do like a fucking Ezekiel Elliott. But I swear to God, if you ask me who's been the best running back in like the past decade, I'm going with DeMarco Murray. With the side of Marion Barber III, because I was a big fan of Marion Barber III. But oh man, I just read up on what happened to him. Like God bless his soul. That nigga went crazy. I think CTE might have gotten to him too. But it's like, why do I support this? It's like, why do I still be in this? Like, and the one thing about being a Cowboys fan, you get it from everybody, not just from the division, but people that don't like the Cowboys. Period. Yeah, I know we're like the most arrogant fans ever, but it's just like we get it from everybody, especially me. When people know I'm a Cowboys fan, when they lose, they send me all the fucking memes. I don't know how many memes has been sent to me about my fucking team. They have to sit there and I have to eat that shit. I want us to win a Super Bowl. I really do. And the fucking sad thing about the NFC East is we're still in the running to fucking win that division. Like the NFC East is so bad that even though we just lost to the Redskins 41 to fucking 10, we can still win that fucking division. That's how sad it is. Like we could probably win the rest of our games out and probably win the fucking rest of the division. I don't see that happening. I don't even want us to make the playoffs. To tell you the truth, I just kind of but I don't like tanking either, which is weird. But like I don't want us to suck like this, but it's just inevitable. And it's just like you should root for other teams, like. And in the back of my mind is like, maybe I should, because maybe, the Seahawks look good. And I've always liked Russell Wilson. Like, Lamar Jackson, like, I've never been a Ravens fan, but I like Ray Lewis. But that was just like play on player. Like, if I, like, leave the Cowboys, I probably wouldn't be a team fan, more or less a player fan. So, like, I'll be a Russell Wilson fan instead of a Seahawks fan. It's like only watching because of Russell Wilson. Or like if I'm watching the Ravens, I'm only watching because of LeVar Jackson. Like I feel like that's where I'll be. Not like I'm hopping on another fucking team. But like Cowboys, please. Like, please. Please. For the love of God. Get it together. Please. Get it together. And that's all I really gotta say. My final thoughts. Let's get to the final thoughts. My final thoughts is I hope everybody had a good Thanksgiving weekend. I hope everybody have a good Christmas. I hope everybody has a good New Year's Eve. And I guess I'm gonna end this like this. Stay your ass. If we had look, and this is go for the people that think that this whole pandemic is a fucking hoax. Like, and like this shit is fake. Look, there are people like over 200,000. We might hit 300,000 people dying from COVID. All right. Like in my house alone, we don't had COVID scares, but no one has contracted COVID. But we don't had scares because like they might have been next to somebody or some shit like that. I don't like wearing masks, but I put one on. No one likes putting on masks, but stay your ass in the fucking house. So, look, I understand that we gotta move. Like as human beings, we kind of like gotta be mobile or some shit like that. And even then, like staying in the house is really, really fucking depressing. Like I'm pretty sure everybody has had snapped on somebody or like gone like have breakdowns or like went through this whole manic state of depression or some shit like that. But please, like until they have a vaccine, please stay your ass in the fucking house. Like just stay in the fucking house. It's like I feel like honestly, I feel like if we like I'm not big on martial law, right? And a lot of people, oh, they try to take away our freedoms and all. I said, no, this fucking virus is fucking real. And even if it don't kill you, a virus like still lingers in your body. You just some sometimes like if death is not the option, the next thing a virus will do is give you a fate worse than death, which people don't like. But please, like I've taken this virus serious from since day one, and like seeing people like still out in the streets, like hell, even marching, like COVID done spiked up again and all that shit, and the fact that you can get it again after you've already had it is like it's saying something. So it's just like, please, people, like stay in the fucking house if you can. Like I get it, I really do. I want this pandemic to end, but like, please let's not be stupid. I hate seeing stupid people like saying, "Oh, this thing is fake," and next thing you don't know how many times I've read a conservative person say this shit is fake, and next thing you know, these motherfuckers die. Like, I'm not like nobody like wearing masks because it's cool. Like, we really like this shit is really like shutting down our fucking economy, which I knew it was going to happen, but thank God Trump is out. Let's just say thank God Trump is out. But I don't want our people to be stupid like this. We shouldn't be stupid like this at all. Like, I feel like, I'll be honest with you, and maybe I'm wrong about this too, but I felt like, hell, if we'd have done what the other fucking countries did, we wouldn't even be in this fucking mess. Like, and I've talked about American greed already, but that's just like if we didn't probably stayed in the joint for 2 months and all that other shit, like we probably would have got over this. And one thing y'all gotta realize that while other countries can like move freely, like Japan at one point can move freely and all that shit, because them motherfuckers was strict. And a lot of other countries, they was really strict. They was like, no, you stay your ass in the house. If you go to Italy and you talk about, hey, and they was like literally telling people, like the mayor was literally telling people to go in your fucking house. Or it's just like saying something. Like, but we gotta be American. We gotta be complicated, and we gotta have stupid ass people to talk about. I know my rights. No, that other stuff. It's like we sound fucking stupid right now. So like I can't wait till this year is over. So that's like I don't want to leave this on depression. So I hope all of y'all have a wonderful last month of 2020. I hope I hope the best thing happens in the year 2020 and all that other stuff. I and for one, I would like to thank everybody that's been on this show that helped this show to be what it is. And I like to thank us as humans to keeping ourselves from going batshit crazy because it literally could be going batshit crazy. So, with that being said, this is You Know What? Let me just say podcast. I would like to thank you for listening to hear me talk my shit again. And next time, I'm pretty sure that we'll get the crew back, or at least most of the crew, and we'll be on our bullshit again. So, with that being said, this is You Know What, Let Me Just Say podcast, and I'm signing out. Peace.